Well, good morning and thank you for joining us. My name is Michael Gault, and I'm here on behalf of the Eminent Domain team at Bell Carrington, Price and Gregg. And we're here on this virtual public town hall to talk more about the roadway improvements on US 64 in the Brevard area from Fortune Cove Road to US 64 Business, which is north of Caldwell Street. This project, as you can imagine, anytime we're dealing with a roadway improvements project or a road widening project, will impact the neighboring landowners, because when a roadway is widened, the government, in this case the North Carolina DOT, will need to obtain private property in order to make the road project happen. That right of the government to obtain that property is what we commonly refer to as the right of eminent domain, meaning that a governmental entity has the right to take private property to effectuate a public purpose, in this case, building a roadway. Because of that, many of you, if you're receiving this information from our firm, and if you're joining us here on this virtual town hall, then there's a good chance that you are a landowner, that you live or work in this area, and that you believe or that you know by prior communication from the DOT that you're impacted as and you will be impacted as this project progresses. So, what is the eminent domain process, and how can we at Bell Carrington help? Well, if you haven't already been contacted in this case, then there's a chance that you're going to be here soon. And if you have already been contacted, but you haven't settled the case and you haven't hired counsel or someone to help you through this, then it's not too late to reach out to us. Basically, as you can imagine, at some point, if you haven't already, the DOT or their representative is going to reach out to you to let you know that you're impacted by this project, and they believe that the impact to your property is worth X amount of dollars. Now, if you're unable to resolve the case with the DOT at that time, then you enter into the condemnation process, which is essentially the filing of a lawsuit by the government saying that they're intending to take your property. And fortunately for you as a landowner, you have rights throughout both of those processes. Among the most important of the rights that you have as a landowner is the right to what we call just compensation, meaning that even though the government can take your property, they must compensate you fairly and adequately for what they're taking from you. Now, the calculation of just compensation isn't always as easy as it sounds. It's not a formula where you can plug in a few numbers and come up with the magic answer. Determining just compensation can be complicated, and you as a landowner, while you have a right to it, you only really get one shot at it. So, on a project like this where construction is going to be ongoing for a number of years, and let's say that you attempt to negotiate just compensation by yourself early on, and you accept an offer based on looking at a 2D plan sheet or a 2D drawing. But then in a couple of years, once construction is completed, you look out into the front yard of your business or your home, and you see that what's reflected on the ground really wasn't considered by you when it came time to negotiate early on with the DOT. At that point, it's too late. If you've settled the case, you only get one bite at the apple. And so it's important to make sure that you have somebody who's knowledgeable in the eminent domain process, who knows the vocabulary, who knows the process, who knows the players, to be able to guide you step by step through the just compensation determination, valuation, and negotiation. And that's where we have experience. Our eminent domain team at Bell Carrington focuses on representing landowners in cases like this. We know the process, the procedure, and the vocabulary, and we're available to help step in on the front end to guide you through and to make sure that your rights are protected throughout the entire eminent domain process. Don't be intimidated. Don't be scared or nervous when this project kicks off and you find out that you're going to be impacted. There's no reason to be. And again, if you've already hired someone or have counsel, please consult them. But if not, it's not too late to reach out to us to find out how we may be of assistance. A couple of things that I like to go through with potential clients or just with folks that may be impacted in town halls like this is concerning the way that we work eminent domain cases at Bell Carrington. The first thing that I'd like to tell you is that this is what we do daily, and because of that, we invite you to reach out to us for an initial consultation. I can guarantee that those initial consultations in our eminent domain cases are always free. They're always no obligation. We have a team standing by that will be happy to speak with you to find out if you are impacted, and if so, how we may be able to help. The second, to sort of help calm your fears about the common misconceptions about attorney's fees, is that in eminent domain cases at Bell Carrington, we operate on what's known as a contingency fee basis, meaning that we're never going to ask you to pay an upfront or out-of-pocket retainer fee. You're never going to be expected to pay any hourly billing that we may accrue on your behalf. And again, there's nothing out of pocket owed on behalf of the landowner. Instead, our fees become a percentage of the recovery or the just compensation that we're able to recover for you from the condemning authority, which in this case is, again, the NCDOT. That sort of relieves the initial obligation or the out-of-pocket obligation on behalf of the client. And ultimately, if we're not successful in helping you recover additional just compensation, then there will be no fee owed to the firm. It's difficult to dive down into the weeds of how that fee structure works or how your individual impacts may progress in such a public and generic forum. But that's why it's important for you to reach out to us or to somebody to have that initial consultation to find out what the impact to your particular property may look like, how that fee structure may fall on your particular property. And that's what we're happy to do during those free, no obligation initial consultations. So I want to thank you for joining us. I hope that we've been able to give you some brief information about the eminent domain process and how we may be able to help you. Don't hesitate to reach out to us. You'll see our email addresses in the video description. Send an email over to our eminent domain team. We'll get you set up with the right attorney or the right intake professional to find out exactly what the impact to your property looks like and how we may be able to guide you through the eminent domain process. Again, Michael Gault on behalf of the Bell Carrington Pricing Reg Eminent Domain Practice Group, thank you for joining us and have a great day.